Now to Duchess Kate paying tribute to her late mother-in-law, Princess Diana. Kate wearing Diana's favorite tiara at the royals' biggest bash of the year last night.
When Princess Kate stepped out in public wearing Princess Diana's most treasured jewel, all eyes turned to her, but one pair of eyes filled with tears. Queen Camilla stood frozen. The necklace once belonged to Diana, a symbol of love and pain. Seeing it on Kate was like seeing the past come alive. It felt like Diana walked into the room, someone whispered. Camilla's smile faded. Her heart carried memories too heavy to speak. Why her? Why now? She quietly asked as the cameras flashed. No one saw the silent story in Camilla's eyes, but it was loud enough to break her. Diana's lover's knot and the silent crown war before it. The lover's knot became a reason for whispers and royal tension. The lover's knot tiara had a story full of love, loss, and deep meaning. It wasn't just made to sparkle. It was made to say something. A long time ago in 1914, Queen Mary asked for it to be created. "Make it like my grandmother's," she said. Pearls and diamonds were placed carefully, each one meant to shine with feeling, not just beauty. Years later, Queen Elizabeth II passed the tiara onto a young woman named Lady Diana Spencer. It was a gift on a very big day in 1981, her wedding day. "Welcome to the family," the tiara seemed to whisper. So, what are we to make of the jewels that were on display at Westminster Abbey last Friday, and in particular those that Kate Middleton wore as she walked down the aisle? Diana wore it with a heart full of hope. At first, it looked like a crown from a fairy tale, but slowly it became something else. The tiara followed Diana everywhere, on royal dinners, long trips, and big crowds. It sparkled for the world, but it also hid her pain. "Smile for the cameras," people would say, but no one saw her silent tears. The tiara was heavy, not just with jewels, but with sadness. It was like her armor, one person said. Beautiful, strong, but lonely. Still, Diana wore it with pride. Even in hard times, she showed up. People began to see more than just the diamonds. "It's her tiara," they'd say. It became a sign of her courage. No matter what happened, when Diana wore the lover's knot, the world saw her standing tall. After her tragic death in 1997, the tiara disappeared. It was put away like a memory too painful to touch. "It's not time," some whispered. For many years, no one wore it again. It waited quiet and still, just like the love and heartbreak it once carried. For almost 20 years, no one saw the lover's knot tiara. It stayed hidden, resting inside a velvet box like a secret too precious to touch. Diana's memory was still fresh, and people said, "It's too special to be worn again." The tiara became a treasure from the past, silent, still, and waiting. Then one evening in 2015, something surprising happened. Catherine, the Princess of Wales, stepped out wearing it. People gasped. "Is that Diana's tiara?" they asked. It was more than fashion. It felt like magic. "It's like Diana is with us again," someone whispered. The tiara sparkled once more, but now on a woman the world had come to love. Kate didn't wear it just to look nice. Her choice was powerful. It stirred feelings deep inside people's hearts. She walked with grace, and for a moment, the world saw two princesses, one gone and one continuing the story. "It's a symbol of love and strength," many said. But not everyone felt joy. Queen Camilla stood watching. Her heart was heavy. For years she had waited quietly. She faced blame, silence, and cold stares. Yet she remained beside the king. She wore grand jewels too, pieces that once belonged to Queen Mary and Queen Elizabeth. But one crown stayed out of her reach, the lover's knot. When Queen Elizabeth II passed away, people wondered who would get which jewels. Everyone thought Camilla would get the best. "She's the queen consort now," they said. But when it came to Diana's tiara, the crown didn't go to her. It went to Kate. No one expected it. Some said the late queen chose Kate on purpose. Others whispered, maybe Charles had something to do with it. Whatever the reason, the tiara found its way to Kate, and Camilla just watched. Catherine didn't just receive the lover's knot tiara. She was also given other beautiful treasures like brooches, earrings, and necklaces that once belonged to Queen Elizabeth and Princess Margaret. These weren't just shiny jewels. They were full of stories. Camilla, now queen, also got some pieces. But the ones that truly touched people's hearts, the ones full of love and memory, were passed to Kate. "It's not just about jewelry," someone whispered. "It's about trust." Many believed this sharing of heirlooms was more than tradition. It was like saying, "You carry our hope." Now, Kate wasn't just becoming a queen. She was becoming the face of a new kind of royalty, kind, warm, and loved by the people. Camilla, even though she had the title of queen, often stayed in the background. Her jewels sparkled, but her presence didn't shine as brightly. Then came the night that changed everything. At a grand royal event, Catherine wore the lover's knot tiara again. The cameras went wild. Flashes lit up the room as her photo spread like wildfire online. People were amazed. "She looks just like Diana," they said, not because she copied her, but because she carried the same quiet strength. The tiara shimmered on her head, and memories of Diana filled the air. Camilla was there too, wearing a different tiara, but few noticed. Her jewels glittered, but they didn't speak. Kate's tiara told a story. Camilla's just looked pretty. The difference between them was clear. Kate's crown held history. Camilla's did not. Social media was full of side-by-side pictures. People smiled and called Kate the new people's princess. The love was real, and Camilla felt it deeply. She had waited so long, gone through hard times, and still, she was in the shadows. That evening wasn't just about dresses and crowns. It was a turning point. Kate stood tall, calm, and respectful. She didn't take Diana's place. She honored it. The tiara, once full of sadness, now glowed with hope. Camilla had tried for years to win hearts, but the truth was hard. "The crown chose Kate," someone said softly. The public didn't just watch, they decided. Camilla wore a crown, but Kate wore the legacy. So, how did Kate receive Diana's most treasured heirloom? And why did it leave Queen Camilla in tears? The night Catherine stole the spotlight. The evening was supposed to be joyful, a grand dinner at Buckingham Palace filled with beauty, tradition, and sparkle. Everything looked like a dream. Golden plates shone on the table, soft music played in the background, and the palace glowed with light. It was meant to be a celebration of unity, grace, and royal pride. But what happened that night became much more than a royal party. It was the night everything changed. The event began like any fancy gathering. Gentle music floated through the air. People in shiny shoes greeted each other with polite smiles and warm hellos. Guests from many countries had gathered. Their laughter sounded like soft bells and the clinking of glass. Everyone was waiting for the royal family to arrive, dressed in their best and wearing jewels that told stories from long ago. Then Princess Catherine walked in. She moved slowly and calmly. Her dress was lovely, but no one was looking at it. All eyes went to the sparkling crown on her head, the lover's knot tiara, the same one Diana had worn, the same one filled with memories of love, sorrow, and strength. As the lights hit it, the diamonds danced. The whole room fell silent. "She looks just like Diana," someone whispered. Duchess Kate, paying tribute to her late mother-in-law, Princess Diana. Kate wearing Diana's favorite tiara at the royals' biggest bash of the year. It wasn't the first time Kate had worn the tiara, but tonight felt different. The event was bigger, the attention was greater, and the tiara looked more powerful than ever. People didn't just see a princess. They saw a story, a feeling, a memory brought to life. A short while later, Queen Camilla entered the room. She wore a beautiful dress and a fine tiara, too, but her steps weren't strong. Her smile looked stiff. Her eyes found Kate and the tiara, and then quickly turned away. She saw it, one guest quietly said, and it shook her. The mood changed just a little. It was like something unseen had passed through the room. The party continued. There were speeches, toasts, and music. But underneath the happy faces, something felt different. The air was heavier. The sparkle didn't hide the shift. And behind every smile was a silent question: had something just begun to change forever? Camilla had waited for many years to become queen. She had walked through storms of gossip, harsh words, and people who didn't want her there. But finally, she stood beside the king, wearing a real crown. It should have been her shining moment, her reward. But something felt wrong that night. No one was looking at Camilla. Their eyes were somewhere else. They were watching Catherine and the tiara. It wasn't just any tiara. It was the lover's knot tiara, full of diamonds and pearls, full of meaning. It had once been worn by Diana, and before her by Queen Elizabeth and Queen Mary. It had seen love, sorrow, and strength. Diana wore it during happy moments, but also when her heart was hurting. The tiara was heavy on her head, but she still smiled. It gave her strength, someone once said. When Catherine wore it now, it wasn't just about looking pretty. It was a message without words. It said, "I remember, I honor, I stand strong, too." Camilla may have felt small at that moment. It was never mine, she might have thought. The tiara had skipped her completely. When Queen Elizabeth passed, everyone expected Camilla to get the most important jewels, and she did: necklaces, brooches, and sparkling treasures from the past. But the lovers not? That went straight to Catherine. Some say the Queen made that decision herself. Others believe it had been planned long ago. Either way, the message was clear: this is for Catherine. In royal life, once a tiara is given, it stays with you forever. So when Camilla saw Catherine wearing it that night, it hit her deeply. She would never wear it, not even once. It wasn't just about diamonds. It was about being loved, about being chosen, and about who people saw as the heart of the royal family. The moment Catherine stepped into that room wearing Diana's tiara, everything changed. People whispered, "She's just like Diana." Not because she tried to be, but because she was calm, kind, and graceful, just like Diana had been. That tiara didn't just shine under the lights. It made the past feel close again. Camilla looked beautiful, too. Her dress was perfect, and her jewels sparkled. But something was missing. The spotlight wasn't on her. The room didn't pause for her. The people didn't whisper her name. Online, things moved fast. Pictures of Catherine spread everywhere. People posted old photos of Diana and compared them to Catherine. The new people's princess, they called her. It was like a torch had been passed, not with words, but with light. Camilla stood quietly, smiling, but inside it must have stung. After everything she had been through, after all the years she tried to be accepted, she was still in Diana's shadow. And now she walked beside her son's wife, who carried that legacy without even trying. The tiara was more than jewelry. It was memory, emotion, a piece of people's hearts. When Catherine wore it, it wasn't just for herself. She carried history with her. She made people feel something real. Camilla had the title. She had the crown. But some crowns are invisible. Some are made of love, of remembrance, of quiet power. That night proved something that no royal title ever could. The people had already chosen their queen-in-waiting, and her name was Catherine. How Catherine got the lover's nod. When Queen Elizabeth passed away, everything began to change. It wasn't just the crown that was passed on. It was her personal treasures, too. Inside the palace, her collection of royal jewels was carefully looked at, piece by piece. These weren't just shiny things. They were full of meaning, memory, and royal history. According to strict rules and quiet traditions, each item was given to someone in the family. Everyone thought Queen Camilla would receive the most special ones. After all, she was now the queen. But there was one piece, one powerful, emotional piece, that did not go to her. It went to Princess Catherine, the lover's knot tiara. Full of diamonds, full of history. It had once sat on Princess Diana's head. Diana wore it during happy moments, but also when her heart was hurting. That made the tiara more than just jewelry. It was a symbol of love, strength, and sadness. When people learned that Catherine now had it, they were shocked. How did she get it? They asked. Some people close to the palace say it wasn't about rank or rules. It was about something deeper. Queen Elizabeth and Princess Catherine had grown close. They didn't always show it in public, but behind closed doors, their bond was strong. "She's calm, loyal, and thoughtful," the Queen once said about Kate. That quiet trust between them may have been why the Queen chose to give her the tiara, not to Camilla. Others have a different story. They say it was simply timing, that when Camilla asked for the tiara, it was already gone. It had been gifted, someone whispered. There was no turning back. No matter which story is true, the result stayed the same. The tiara now belongs to Catherine, and that choice sent a quiet message through the royal family. Many believed Camilla would receive it. She had worked hard, stood beside King Charles, and faced years of harsh words from the public. Maybe wearing Diana's tiara could have helped her feel more accepted, more complete. But that moment never came. Instead, the tiara, rich with memory, found its place on Catherine. And with that, the past quietly chose its future. It wasn't Camilla who captured everyone's hearts. It was Catherine. She stepped into the spotlight with quiet grace, the lover's knot tiara glowing on her head like it had always belonged there. The moment pictures of her wearing it appeared online, people everywhere felt something. "She looks just like Diana," fans whispered. The shine of the diamonds, the shape of the pearls, the gentle way she wore it, it all brought back powerful memories. It wasn't just jewelry. It was a memory, a feeling, a part of the past shining again. The world didn't just see a princess. They saw history coming alive. And all at once, something that seemed quiet, a simple sharing of jewelry, became something much bigger. It was more than fashion. It was a shift. Yes, Camilla was queen. But Catherine had something else, the love of the people. That love was powerful. It didn't come with a title, but it mattered just as much. She's already acting like a queen, some said. And inside the palace, people noticed. The feeling was strong. For years, Camilla had been trying to earn that kind of love. She had waited, worked, and walked a long, hard road. Now someone younger was standing in the light. And to make it harder, the one thing that might have helped Camilla feel closer to the people, and to Diana, the lover's knot, was already gone. It had been given to Catherine forever. Camilla wanted to remind people who she was. So for her next big royal event, she made a bold choice. She wore the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, one of Queen Elizabeth's favorites. It was grand. It was royal. And it had deep tradition. She's showing her strength, one person said. But still, the headlines said something different. Catherine was still the one everyone was talking about. People were sharing side-by-side photos of Diana and Catherine. She's the new people's princess, someone posted. Camilla looked elegant, proud, and queenly, but she couldn't stop the feeling that she was being forgotten. Her tiara sparkled, but it didn't touch hearts like the lover's knot did. Catherine's tiara had a story, and people love a story. The difference between the two women was clear. Catherine didn't even have to try. She didn't speak about the tiara. She didn't boast. But still, people felt something when they saw her. It was as if Diana's spirit was standing beside her. Camilla, even with the crown, seemed hidden behind her. She looks royal, someone said. But Catherine looks remembered. And that's what truly mattered. In the royal family, titles and rules are important, but symbols like tiaras can speak louder than words. And emotions, they can shape everything. Camilla was honored. She had earned her place. But Catherine was loved. That love didn't need a title. It lived in people's hearts. And every time she wore the lover's knot, that love grew stronger. This wasn't just about jewels or royal gowns. It was about meaning. That tiara, once Diana's and now Catherine's, held more than diamonds. It held trust. It held memories. It held the future. And when Queen Elizabeth gave it to Catherine, she passed along something even more powerful than a crown. She passed the story forward. But how are these magical tiaras passed from one royal to another? Let's find out. Royal rules of the tiara. Tiaras might look like they come from fairy tales, but in the royal world, they are full of deep meaning. They aren't just shiny crowns to wear for fun. In fact, there are strict rules about them, rules that have been followed for generations. You can't just pick a tiara because it matches your dress. Tiaras choose you, one royal insider once said. And once a tiara is given, it stays with that person forever. Only the king or queen can decide who gets a tiara. Once it's handed over, it's yours for life. You can't trade it. You can't lend it. And no one else can wear it again. That's exactly what happened with the lover's knot tiara. When Queen Elizabeth gave it to Princess Catherine, it became hers forever. That door closed forever, someone whispered. Even if Camilla wanted to wear it again, she couldn't. The tiara now belonged to Catherine, and only Catherine. These rules aren't just made up. They're part of old royal traditions that have never changed. In the royal family, what you wear can speak louder than words. Every tiara tells a story. And once that story is tied to one woman's life, it can't be told by someone else. Tiaras are only worn during very special events. You'll only see that. She wore it during special events, like dinners with presidents and meetings with kings. This tiara is more than diamonds, said one historian. It's part of royal history. And when Queen Elizabeth passed away, her jewelry was quietly divided. Some believed the famous tiara would go to Queen Camilla. After all, she was now married to the king. It makes sense, people said. She's the new queen consort. But then Catherine wore it, and everything changed. No public announcement. No royal statement. Just a moment, a photograph, and the world knew. The tiara belonged to Catherine now. Some were thrilled. She's the future, they said. The queen trusted her. Others weren't so sure. Was it fair? Was Camilla pushed aside because of her past? The queen had faced many hard choices during her life. And some say this one, quiet as it was, spoke louder than words. She gave the tiara not just to a princess, but to the woman she believed could carry the royal legacy forward. Catherine wearing it wasn't just fashion. It was a message. Camilla, though queen by title, now stood beside a younger woman whose head carried not just a crown, but the public's love. The people didn't just see Catherine. They saw memories of Princess Diana, elegance and something timeless. She didn't need to say anything. A single shared tiara said it all. And behind every smile that evening, silence lingered. So was Camilla passed over because of old controversies? Did the queen choose emotion over tradition? Only those behind palace walls know the full truth. But one thing is clear, when Catherine wore that tiara, a legacy was passed down, and the world watched, feeling the weight of history in every sparkle. Why was it given to Princess Catherine and not Queen Camilla? Catherine's journey in the royal family has been quiet but powerful. She never rushed, never forced her way in. Instead, she moved gently, earning trust with her grace and kindness. Queen Elizabeth noticed this. She carries herself with dignity, one palace aide once said. So when the Queen gave Catherine one of the most special tiaras, the lover's knot, it meant more than just a gift. It showed that Catherine is a big part of the future of the monarchy. The tiara itself is stunning, with diamonds and pearls that sparkle like stars. But it's not just about beauty. This crown carries deep meaning. It once belonged to Queen Mary, and later to Queen Elizabeth, and most famously, to Princess Diana. Diana wore it during her happiest moments, and her saddest ones, too. That's why, when Catherine wears it, people feel something. It's like seeing Diana again, many say. When Queen Elizabeth passed away, her jewels were passed down. Camilla, now Queen Consort, received many beautiful pieces. She had waited years to be accepted and worked hard to prove herself. Moving from Duchess of Cornwall to Queen Consort wasn't easy. She had to face judgment, gossip, and comparisons to Diana. Catherine, on the other hand, fit in naturally, winning hearts without trying too hard. Some say Camilla expected to get the lover's knot tiara. But when Catherine wore it instead, whispers began. Was Camilla upset? People asked. The palace never said anything. Still, the questions kept growing, mostly from the public and media, not from anyone inside the royal family. In truth, royal jewels are more than treasures. They represent power, trust, and legacy. Passing them down is not just about family tradition. It's about choosing who carries the story forward. Every time Catherine wears the tiara, it reminds the world of Princess Diana. She doesn't try to be Diana, but people see the kindness, the elegance, the strength. She's her own person, someone said. But Diana's spirit is there. Camilla's jewelry tells a different story. Hers speaks of endurance, patience, and change. She's not trying to replace the past, just show her place in the present. However, the tiara on Catherine's head means more than sparkle. It means the crown is slowly moving forward, with grace, with memory, and with quiet strength. Many of the sparkling pieces Queen Camilla wears today once belonged to Queen Elizabeth II. This connects her not to Princess Diana, but to the deeper roots of royal tradition. One of Camilla's most treasured pieces is the Greville tiara. It's her favorite, said one royal watcher. The tiara was first owned by Dame Margaret Greville, then passed to the Queen Mother, and later to Queen Elizabeth II. Now, Camilla wears it often, especially since stepping into her higher role in the royal family. This choice tells a story. Camilla doesn't try to copy Diana's memory. Instead, she holds on to the legacy of the Queen Mother and Queen Elizabeth, showing loyalty to tradition and the older generation. On the other hand, Princess Catherine often chooses pieces that belong to Diana. It's like she's keeping Diana's memory alive. Many people say the jewelry they wear isn't just for beauty. It shows who they are and what they stand for. Some royal experts believe this difference is a good thing. When Princess Catherine stepped into the royal event wearing the lover's knot tiara, the room quietly paused. Her entrance was calm and graceful, but the moment didn't stay quiet for long. All around the world, people began to notice. Photos of Catherine, smiling gently, with the sparkling tiara on her head, filled the internet. One person wrote, "She looks like Diana. She brings back memories." Another said, "It's like seeing the people's princess again." The tiara wasn't just shiny and beautiful. It held deep meaning. It once sat on Princess Diana's head, a woman loved by millions. And now it was shining again on the head of Diana's daughter-in-law. To many, this didn't feel like a simple fashion choice. It felt like a moment of honor, a moment where the past and the present gently touched. People felt something special deep in their hearts. Some smiled with joy, thinking, Diana's story continues. Others whispered, this could change things inside the palace. While Catherine's pictures flooded the front pages and social media, Queen Camilla also attended the same event. But people barely noticed her. Comments online spoke softly but clearly. Why does Camilla look so serious? She didn't seem very happy. No one said anything cruel, but something was missing. Attention. And in the royal world, being ignored can feel heavier than being disliked. One royal writer said, Catherine was the star. Camilla faded into the background. The newspapers showed it, too. Catherine's photo in the tiara took center stage, glowing under the headlines. Camilla was only mentioned in passing. The story was clear. The public was embracing one woman with open arms, while quietly stepping away from the other. Even royal experts, usually careful with their words, admitted something big was happening. It's not just about a tiara, one expert explained. It's about memory, love, and legacy. Seeing Catherine in that tiara didn't just bring sparkle. It brought back the spirit of Princess Diana. And for many people, it felt like Diana was there once more, smiling through Catherine. After Princess Catherine wore the Lover's Knot tiara, everything changed. Even though she didn't say a word, her quiet grace spoke louder than anything. People all over the world saw her photo and felt something deep. She reminds me of Diana, many said. It's like seeing her again. The tiara sparkled. But what really shined was the emotion it brought back. But while the world smiled at Catherine, Queen Camilla felt something else, something heavy. She had spent years trying to be accepted. She worked hard, supported charities, smiled at every event, and followed royal duties carefully. But after that night, old memories came rushing back. People on social media started bringing up the past, the pain Princess Diana went through, the stories of heartbreak, and Camilla's part in it. History doesn't forget, someone posted. Some crowns carry more than diamonds. Sources inside the palace whispered that tension filled the air. Some said King Charles was upset. He didn't expect this reaction. A royal aide shared. The public wasn't just admiring a tiara. They were remembering a story, a real one that touched their hearts. Camilla, who had tried so hard to move forward, now felt pulled backward. She reportedly began to question how royal jewelry was shared. For years, these jewels were given out based on royal rules and rank. But now, feelings were involved. The Lover's Knot tiara wasn't just a shiny crown. It was Diana's memory, a reminder of love, pain, and the people's princess. Some insiders said Camilla felt unseen, like she had the title, but not the heart of the people. It's hard to wear a crown, one palace staffer said, when no one is looking at you. Even worse, they said Camilla might rethink wearing certain jewels. She didn't want to stir up more memories or stories. Every sparkle now came with a shadow. As for Catherine, she stayed calm. She didn't post, didn't speak, didn't explain. But those close to her said it all came from love. She wore it for Diana, one source said, not to outshine Camilla, but to honor her mother-in-law. Her quiet eyes, her gentle smile, it told the world this was not about power. It was about respect. Still, the world kept watching. Catherine is the future, people whispered. She wears the crown of the past and the hope of tomorrow. Even though Camilla had the title of queen, it was clear that Catherine held the public's heart. And that, in the royal world, means everything. So now, behind the palace walls, things are quiet, but not calm. Every tiara will now be chosen with care. Every jewel will carry meaning. And every step Catherine takes will remind people of the woman who came before her, and the woman she is becoming. Not every crown is made of gold. Some are made of memories. This version maintains all the original text in paragraph form, ensuring no words are skipped or altered while improving readability. Let me know if you'd like any adjustments. New.